Welcome C# learners. This is Prep 2 project that you can find in my GitHub repository. I'll provide a link in the comments or in the description, and you can find it under C# Prep, Prep 2, Program CS. This is the code that we'll be going over right here. And we are going to be covering conditional if and else if statements, and we will also be covering how to convert a string variable into a float variable. Okay, so let's get started here. One thing I wanted to cover before going on is that in the launch.json, if you want to be able to run this in your terminal on VS Code, you need to make sure in the console here that it says integrated terminal, and then you'll be able to run it right down here. Okay, so let's get going here. So this program goes over if, else if statements and else statements. It's a program where you put in your grade percentage, and then this converts it through these logic statements here into letter grades of A, B, C, D, or F. In addition to that, we convert it into either B, whatever grade it is, a B or a C or a D plus or minus. There's an A minus. However, there's not an A plus. There's no plus or minus F. So we need to also account for that and have conditions here to get rid of that. So in C#, we start here with a statement, and as discussed before, we collect the answer right here into this variable through console.readline, and then console.writeline is how we print statements down to the terminal here. And we're going to use if statements. If it's greater than or equal to 90, it's an A. Greater than or equal to 80, it's a B. Greater than or equal to 70, it's a C. Greater than or equal to 60, it's a D, or else it's going to be an F. Now, as you can see for the syntax here for C# for if statements, you have the if statement, and then within the brackets here, you put the if statement that you're checking, and then you put these brackets here so that whatever is within that is what happens. So that's the syntax for if, also for else if, and also for else in C#. One other thing to note, whenever you make comments, if you do a double slash like this, that's a comment to help you comment it, and it's always good to make a lot of comments throughout the code. Now, once the person enters a percentage, that's going to be taken as a string. Everything entered in will be taken as a string. So we have to convert that to a float. And we do that through float.parse, and then we stick in that variable and make this variable equal to that, which is going to be a float. Now, float means that it's a number with a decimal point. We could also do an int, and change this to an int parse right here, and that would work as well, but then you would not be able to put decimal points in. So we're going to keep that as a float. Okay, so then explaining further here, once you've determined if it's what grade letter it is, then we need to determine if it's a or a letter plus or minus. So in order to do that, what we can do is take this here, which takes the divides and gives you the remainder as the answer. So if the last number of the grade percentage is, so the remainder dividing by 10 would give you basically get rid of the tens part. So you'd have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 point whatever, and that would be what you'd have left here. So if we set that equal to the last number as a float, and then we set up a conditional if statement here, if that last number is greater than or equal to 7, then it's a plus, so grade letter plus. Else it would be a minus. And then if the grade percentage, we also have to take into consideration that there's no A plus and there's no F minus or F plus. So in order to get rid of those, we only want to add a plus sign or a minus sign to it if it is above, or no, I'm sorry, if it is below 97%, or if it is, or I should say, and if it is above 60%. So this is how you would include and. That's the syntax for and in a conditional statement. You also have the conditional statement of or. However, if we were to do or, then anything above 60 or below 97 would work. So that would include everything basically. So because it would be anything below 97, so it would end up going below the 60, and here it would be anything above 60, so it would go above 97, so they kind of cancel each other out there. So we can't do an or, we've got to do an and. All right, so if that happens, what we do is take the letter grade and we concatenate it with adding it together. We take the letter grade and add the sign after it, as long as it's not an A or an F. And then at the end, we're going to print out your letter grade is, and it will show either a straight A or a straight F, or possibly A minus and all the way down to D plus or minus throughout those grades. And then we want to tell them whether or not they have passed. So if it's above 70, which is passing, we will give them a congratulations, you have passed the class with a console.writeLine. Or else we will use a console.writeLine to say, I'm sorry you didn't pass, but I know you can do it if you try again. So that is how the program works. Now if we press F5 to run the program, then we can have more screen space here. So F5, and it compiles the code, runs it, and it says, welcome to the Prep 2 demonstration, C# learners. And it asks, what is your grade percentage? So let's try a 98%. Let's put 0.6, and that tells us A is the letter grade you have earned. Congratulations, you have passed the class. Let's try that one more time, maybe two more times actually. Okay, it says, welcome to the Prep 2 demonstration, C# learners. What is your grade percentage this time? Let's say it's an 88.5%. And it says that's a B+ is your letter grade you have earned. Congratulations, you have passed the class. And F5 one more time to run it again just to see what happens if we don't pass. Let's say we got 55.2%. You've earned F is your grade letter, and I'm sorry you didn't pass, but I know that you can do it if you try again. So that is the program using conditional if statements, else if statements, or else statements within C#, and also taking floats, I should say string variables, and converting them into floats, and also covering and or statements there greater than or equal to statements, or less than, and you can also do less than and equal to statements. So anyway, I hope this was helpful and hope to see you again next time.